To Shama or not to Shama? That press conference was more exciting than some of the most recent. Unk and Alex were going back and forth without any comprehension of what each other were saying. Double language barrier right there, and they just kept going. They just wanted to vent, express their grievances for each other. To where they were mixing up the translators, caused the translators to start beefing. No, it was amusing though. You could definitely tell they do not like each other whatsoever. This is going to be an interesting fight. Merab and Cory surprisingly had some resentment for each other, although it seems, competitively, of course, but Merab and Cory talking about Cory's OF career, and apparently he's made like $2 million off of it. That's crazy. All right, off to make an account. No, but Cory says he's going to defend all the takedowns, so Merab has to strike with him. Not discouraging Merab whatsoever. He is ready for a striking match with Cory. It definitely felt like a UFC press conference, man. Very different than the boxing one. The reporters asking the questions that we're all dying to know the answers to, like, how would it feel if you won this fight? Alex, are you going to shave your head? How quick do you think Merab will start wrestling? What would we know without these reporters? Diana Belbita providing more insightful questions than journalists. That just tells you the state of MMA journalism. And also these journalists sometimes just not letting fighters respond to each other. Toward the beginning of the press conference, Alex brought up that Ankalaev was hiding from him at the PI. And then Ankalaev wanted to respond, but just had to be interrupted for a profound question. What are the secrets that Sean Strickland has told you about Ankalaev? It's like, dude, come on, man. That's what you had to interrupt Ankalaev for? The guy reached for the mic. Dude, it's so annoying when journalists interrupt the fighters. You see him reach for the mic. This guy had it up to his face ready to speak, but bro prioritized his own question. The press conferences are about the fighters. They're not about you asking your question. I get it. Like, the reporters are doing a job and stuff, but that is beneficial to your job. You're getting more substance when Ankalaev is speaking. There's more to talk about, more to write about, more to report than what does Sean Strickland tell you about Ankalaev? It's like, bro, he fought the guy already. There is no secret. And if there's an injury or something like that, Strickland's not going to tell Alex. At least I don't think he would, if that's what the reporter is entailing with his question. The only thing more annoying than when a reporter interrupts a fighter is when they ask the worst question. This guy checked both of those boxes. And thankfully, the next reporter gave Ankalaev an opportunity to respond before he was so rudely interrupted. Later Ankalaev was saying the only reason why Alex became champion was because he wasn't there. He wasn't given the opportunity to fight him when he was the rightful #1 contender. And perhaps if they gave him another title fight prior, he probably would have had that belt and defended it multiple times to this point. But I don't know if that would be true because Ankalaev improved from the Jan Blachowicz fight. I don't know if that version of Ank would have beaten the best version of Alex. Progressing from that experience, I think, is what set him apart. And then Alex was all like, that was me on my worst day, and that's all you can do? Now, I don't like that talk. It's bringing in excuses and stuff like that, but it raises the stakes. Another loss to Ank would dispel all of the excuses and paint Alex as an incorrect sore loser. The excuses did not make a difference. You were wrong about that, and you were using them to cope with the loss. But a win for Alex proves to many that the first defeat was some sort of fluke. Right? The narrative would be that Ankalaev did beat a lesser version of Alex, and if he fought this version, he would have lost the first time, making a rematch unnecessary. And Alex is calling him a coward for hiding at the PI, and he's a puppet to his manager and coaches. They're feeding him everything to say. He can't come up with his own trash talk material for himself, like he's not witty enough. Alex really doesn't like this guy, man. Alex has a great amount of resentment for him, and it's all thanks to Ali Abdelaziz. But at the same time, he's causing such a storm between them that even Ankalaev is unprepared for, I do agree with Alex somewhat that Unk doesn't seem as the trash talking type. Some of it does feel forced. Now, the lobby incident seemed a lot more natural from Unk, but I don't think the trash talking fits him so well. And Ali Abdelaziz, managers, coaches, whatever, are probably influencing him to amplify the trash talking. When I see Unk, I see someone who is stoic. Same with Alex, to be honest. That's what I imagine the fight would portray. Two stone-faced, stoic fighters facing off, but they both seemingly got under each other's skin. Alex was effective with saying he's a coward for hiding at the PI, and then Ali Abdelaziz got under Alex's skin. And another reporter asked Alex if he's ever been disrespected by another fighter like this before, and Alex said no. He does feel disrespected, and he's done a lot in his combat sports career, both in kickboxing and MMA, inspired so many people from defeating alcoholism, and he said that Unk can choose either to inspire people or not, holding that as a great virtue even for an athlete, but it's a big component going into the fight. Can Alex contain or control his emotions when he's in there in front of Ankalaev after all the trash talk? But Alex could be sharper too. He might not run into punches and get recklessly aggressive. It's going to be quite interesting on how all of this fight buildup is going to affect Alex in the fight. Now, the one question that Ankalaev got about will he be able to win over the fans after beating Alex for the second time, I don't think his answer was completely accurate. Now, it is true that he's fighting Alex, the fan favorite, and of course the audience is going to be on his opponent's side, right? It portrays Ankalaev as the villain for the fight. But it's not just that. I honestly think the results of his Jan Blachowicz fight and the post-fight promotion after it hurt some of that positive reception because so many people were saying how boring it was. Dana did not want to reschedule that fight. He definitely was not a big fan of the fight, which I disagreed with him. I thought it was a fine fight. It wasn't great. It wasn't super exciting, but I think it was overstated how boring it was. When we've seen Adesanya versus Romero, and we've seen Rose versus Esparza, and we've seen Merab versus Aldo, and there's so many more boring fights than that. The standard is quite high for boredom. But regardless of a difference of opinions, that post-fight promotion, I think hurt Ankalaev's reception more than anything else. He's going to have to score some impressive knockouts, maybe even consecutively, to win the fans over. But I think another win over Alex is going to paint him in better light afterward. I think a lot of fans are going to jump on board. Most likely. It happens all the time, right? The best fighters generally garner the largest fan bases. Jiri and Khalil were very respectful of each other, and they're both going to go for that, and that's what we want to hear. And then Merab said that he would not fight Alexander Volkanovski out of respect, which is quite interesting. Fighters have different perspectives on respect. Some guys express their respect through fighting somebody, right? Some guys would say, I respect Volk so much, I would love to share the octagon with him. Merab has the complete opposite perspective. It'd be an awesome fight, but I just don't see Merab winning it. It's a tough fight for him. Volk is way too good, and he's too big. Fit were pretty eccentric. Jiri looking like my WWE SmackDown vs. Raw created character. And Khalil with the bell bottoms, the platformer shoes, making him look like 6'3". It was pretty cool. But during the main event face-off, it was interesting. Alex was convincing himself to get into this desperate state of victory. He was iterating to himself to not go back to the tire shop. He's trying to shift into that necessary mindset to defeat Ankalaev. So we might see a hungrier Alex Pereira than ever, or the fact that he was trying to convince himself may be the issue. Because of course, he's not going to the tire shop. This was a very prosperous career. He's made millions of dollars. But hopefully for him, it works out. Hopefully he's able to put on the performance that he's satisfied with. And same with Ankalaev. We want to see a better fight this time. And that's pretty much it. I thought it was a decent press conference. The journalists definitely have to stop interrupting, ask better questions. The boxing event was so refreshing. I was hoping that would spill in somewhat to the UFC press conference, but it didn't. It's the same thing with the same questions. But what do you guys think of the press conference? Based off of this, do your picks change for this? If you picked Ankalaev, do you think what he portrayed here made you more confident or unconfident for your pick? And same goes for Alex. Do you think Alex is too emotional? Do you think he's talking too much? Whether that changes, if you think he's going to win or not. And I'll see you guys in the next video, which is going to be the Usman versus Hughes 2 fight.